This is Dr. Ali Kane, and you're listening to my podcast, Happy, Healthy, and Successful. On today's episode, we're talking with Mindshift Ninja about the importance of mindset training. Hello, Dr. Ali Kane here. I am joined by the amazing Mindshift Ninja team. I'm so excited. When I first started this podcast, I hadn't asked them yet if they would come on it, but I knew that they had to be on it. So I'm so thrilled that they're here with me in Keswick, Ontario, in my gym, Anchor, to answer a few questions about what they do and why you need to seek them out to be your best self. So thank you, Ayla Yasher, for joining me here today.
Thank you.
I want to hear about you guys individually. Let the listeners know who you are and what makes you guys such a great team.
Wonderful. Sure. So I'm Ayla, and my background is in social justice. My master's is in human rights. And for the past 15 years, I've primarily worked in project or program management. Right now, my role is primarily as a strategist and brain-based executive coach. The background I really brought to this was I worked with various teams in diverse environments in cities and countries, in various sectors even. And it was really interesting to work with certain people that were just so dynamic, always engaging, connected, constantly evolving, creative. And then there was those that, even though all the passion and interest was there, they were burning out, and the projects weren't being brought to fruition. So my quest, or the questioning, started with wondering what was happening. Why this with some people, and why wasn't this happening with others? And because I was managing these teams, I had an invested interest in them and their health and the outcome of the project. And so these conversations kept evolving, and after 15 years of trying to find the best way for people to be their best, do their best work, and get the stuff they want done. Very cool.
Yeah. And for myself, I'm a naturopathic doctor, a brain-based executive coach as well, and I teach health psychology. And so my life is all about trying to understand the psychology of performance and how we can live a healthy and happy life. I'm blessed to have a wide array of experiences from high-level athletes all the way to end-of-life cancer care, and as I say, everything in between. And so what I've really learned through all of those conversations is if someone doesn't have a truly understood and close connection to themselves and why they're doing the work they're doing, regardless of the challenge ahead of them, then it's really hard to put the puzzle pieces together for them to have success. Again, whatever that definition may be. And even at end-of-life care, there's a lot of people who are a lot more successful than someone who has full health. If you look at truly the definition
what their definition
of success is. So for myself, I just really, if you boil it down, it's reframing our doubts, our anxieties, our challenges, our roadblocks, and bringing it forward with more resiliency and more hope and optimism. And how do we actually get the work done that we want to and need to?
Okay. And so the two of you brilliant minds came together. How did you meet?
Yeah, well, brother and sister. Ayla is the elder, wiser one, and so essentially we just, as brother and sister do, we sat down for coffees and teas over many years and had conversations about her struggles in the workforce, my struggles in medicine, and we both are, as we said, brain-based executive coaches. So we said, look, let's get ahead of this. Let's not just wait for burnout. Let's not wait for sickness. And let's create a business. So Mindshift Ninja essentially is a mindset training, coaching, and consulting firm. And we train mindset through looking at the neurosciences, performance psychology, strategic planning methodologies, and mindfulness techniques. And all of this is in line to help people do better by thinking better.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love your tagline, do better by thinking better. And I really think you guys are, I think I said this before, almost ahead of the trend. Like, the world needs to catch up to where you were thinking, because we're so outcome focused, which obviously we need results. Companies, corporations, gyms, we all want the results, but we're not engaged in the actual process of it or even defining it. So we might reach that success and not feel what we thought we were going to feel because we haven't done the right steps that you guys are putting into
You haven't checked in along the way. You might not even know why you're doing what you're doing. We skip over the vital questions of why we're even doing this in the first place. What is it that makes us motivated, show up, excited, so that even if you don't get that outcome, whatever X is, that you still feel proud of the way you did it and understand how you can learn from that challenge and do better next time. If you focus only on the outcome, you lose all the magic in between, where all your learning is, your growth potential, and that's also where you're making impact with whoever you're doing this goal with. You know, this is where teams fail because they're only focused on the outcome, and the process is completely neglected, which also means that the team environment is neglected. And unfortunately, for most places, that's why people leave, and they'll feel connected with their work and not excited to even wake up in the morning and go to the office.
Mm-hmm. So who do you work with? Who is your target audience?
Yeah.
Those that want to be ninjas.
Who does want to be a ninja?
Yeah. I think essentially what it's really boiled down to is leaders in transition. And that leadership can be in the classroom, it could be at the board level, it could be on the court in an athletic sense. So it's, you know there's a challenge ahead of you, you know you're doing great work or want to do better work, and you know you need help or coaching through a mindset training to show up to that challenge even better. Mm-hmm. Those people really seek us out. Yeah. And what's interesting is usually people who are already doing great work are like, okay, I'm going to push it to the next level.
Yeah.
And it's this really weird idea where you think that only those who are broken need mindset coaching. And they too can benefit from it, but I think really what's important and kind of what we gravitate towards and people gravitate towards us are those people who are already trying to do great work. As we say, you know, how do we help great people do great work? And I think when you're in that transition period of I'm ready to show up to this, I'm ready to make a commitment to me, my community, my work in a different way, that's when people show up.
Amazing. And we're your spotters, really, if you think about it. You know, when you're ready to kind of take on that next level, you need support. You know, and to think that you can do it all yourself, it's taking on more than you can handle. You know, the brain is a muscle, so it needs to be respected in the same manner. So, you know, your growth needs to be supported, you need to be trained, and when you're ready to show up to the next step and to have that growth support, that's what we're here for.
I know, and I love how you guys always come back to show up. It's actually something that we say to each other in the gym, and the brain is a muscle, and people who aren't broken still need to work on it. I mean, if you achieve a level of fitness and stop going to the gym, you're not going to maintain that. So, and you're not going to get better, certainly. So why are we looking at physical fitness so differently than we look at, mental and emotional training? And I think that resonates with people. It certainly resonated with me with what you just said, and you've said that to me. You know, who do you want to show up as? Every time you show up as that person, that's a rep. You've trained that person. You're not going to show up as that person every time. There's no perfection in this, but you learn from that. And you grow.
Yeah. Let me share a really quick story about a conversation I was having with someone just on this topic, where he said, you know, half of this is just I should just walk into the room and show up into the room. And I said, true. There's a lot of people who think that way, and that is absolutely true. If you don't show up, then there's nothing to gain. So walking into that room, whatever the room is, we're thinking of a boardroom again, a team room, whatever. Fine. But how much more powerful could it be if you walked in that room knowing who you want to show up as? How much more powerful would it be if you walk in that room knowing what your outcome measures are? How much more powerful would it be if you felt a gravitational pull towards the reason you're there and how that impacts yourself and your community and your family and your work? Now we show up in a whole different way than just simply just show up, right? And I think that's the next tweak we can do in our cognitive muscles to do that work.
Amazing. You know, one of my taglines of what I've entitled the podcast series that I've started is happy, healthy, successful. 3 powerful words. Absolutely. I think most people want to be happy, want to be healthy, want to be successful. But those 3 things look so different for you, me, and everybody, right? And one of the things that I love about Mindshift Ninja is you cater to anybody. You show up as who you are, and then you figure out what the vision for yourself is. Again, the vision's going to be different for every single person you work with. The CEO has a different vision for themselves than, an amateur hockey player. Right.
Sure.
But you can apply the same methodologies by training the brain and get there.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Very good. It's interesting. We collaborated on a nutrition book, right? And we haven't even said the word nutrition in the first 10 minutes of this because it's not necessarily about nutrition, right? What I came to you guys for is, how do I shift the focus, mind shift the focus of people who enlist me as their nutrition consultant because they want to lose weight, get 6-pack abs, hit a 300-pound deadlift, and instead tie their outcomes to something much more than that. And what you guys have done so beautifully is, again, talking about as showing up as who you want to be. Now, when I approached you guys about nutrition, had you ever worked with anybody on nutrition before?
So clinically, of course, I've worked with many people on nutrition. And in mindshift, though we work obviously a little bit different than clinically, we have an ecosystem that we talk of, and that's the mind, the body, and the space in which you do your work, which involves the physical space, like this gym is set up for peak performance, and also the relationships in that space. Most people talk about mind-body. Not many people we find talk about the space and the relationships that go in that space. So body for us is very important. You can't skip over it. So when you did ask us to join, it was a unique opportunity to blend all of our worlds into one kind of project. So yeah, I think nutrition is something that we take seriously. We understand the impact and the power of it, not just on the body again, but on the mind.
Yeah, and the desire is there. We can tell, like, everyone's looking for this type of information. They want to, become healthier. They have their personal goals for themselves. So we would love to kind of switch the narrative on how we do that and put mindset first, because when you talk about nutrition, if you have your mindset straight first, the whole way in which you even look at it changes. Because you're looking at it because you're looking to achieve other things that are more about fulfillment and impact than about a dress size.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. You hit the nail on the head. Amazing. We didn't even rehearse it.
No, we did not.
So speaking on a personal level, what does health mean to you?
Well, health is interesting. Health has changed its meaning, I think, as it does in life when you go through hardship. So for me, health was probably just my weight and my body for many years of my life, and I never actually had a problem with it, to be honest. Up until I was about 29, I was the same weight of high school. I was a size 4, probably 2 to 4 around the whole time. And so health, I've never looked at. I just thought, I'm healthy. I don't eat badly. I work out kind of, and I'm good. I'm good to go. And I was working hard. I worked a lot. At that time, I was the youngest project manager in where I was working in the whole province. I was great. And then I got sick. I had thyroiditis, and everything changed. I had to leave my work. I gained about maybe 30 pounds in a year. It just blew my mind. And so health suddenly changed its meaning for me, and it still is, because it's an evolution from then to now. Even when I look in the mirror, it's having that relationship with myself and having to shift my focus, because health was suddenly much bigger. Much bigger than what I saw. It was what was going on the inside, the stress levels that I was incurring, and what was happening that changed my life. And so I had to look at health from a holistic perspective and understand boundaries and understand how to use my voice when I needed to, and really change the way I thought about it and acted. So now health is an ecosystem. It's a dynamic process that involves many parts and aspects of my life, and bringing them into an equilibrium. That doesn't mean everything's exactly the same. It just means I'm checking in with all parts of me now for where I need to go.
Because there is no healthy in isolation.
No.
I'll touch on what you said. Like at 29, health to you was, I'm a size 4, I'm healthy, right? But then there's so many other aspects of your health that at that point you hadn't addressed. And now you see that holistic view of your health. It's beautiful. Yash, what about you? What does health mean to you? I mean, you're a naturopathic doctor.
Yeah.
You wear, actually, I'm not going to say you wear many hats, because I know you guys posted that. You are just you.
I have a toolbox.
You have a toolbox.
I have a toolbox.
You have a very unique toolbox in that you've done a lot of different things you're quite young. You're very experienced. You're super wise, but a lot has happened in your life. And so what, at this moment right now, does health mean to you?
Yeah, thank you for that. I think I'm learning to turn down the intensity and crank up the consistency.
Okay.
And what that really means for me is like I was captain of the rugby team. I play the drums in a rock band. I have a couple of clinical practices. I have a family that's growing. I have a dog, and I can lift that weight and I can do whatever. And blah 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 blah. But it's really, I've learned that while I was doing all of that, I was actually disconnecting more and more from the things that really mattered, meaning my relationships and the fulfillment. I know we're going to get into happy, but I like to talk about fulfillment.
Okay.
And so really what that means then is to do the things in a way that makes me proud of myself and makes those people around me that I'm trying to attend to proud of me as well. Okay. And so I want to know that as my child grows, he will think Daddy's cool, not necessarily because of the car he drives or the clothes he wears, but the way he looks into people's eyes and the connection he makes, and I want him to learn those attributes. I want my wife to think I'm the coolest, sexiest man she's ever met because of the way I impact our community. You know, so I've become less about me in a certain way, but at the same time become more about me because I've dug a little deeper than the physical. It's easy to do as I would say, curl for the girls. You know, it's easy to do those type of workouts, but knowing the science of performance and knowing I want to perform at my best, I had to spread, as I said, in more of a holistic lens and realize that sure, I could deadlift 300, but can I hold my child steady when he's in trouble? You know, that's, yeah, so that's, I think, where health is really taking on a whole new meaning for
level.
me. Yeah.
There was a study done, and I might butcher this totally, but Harvard University, 70-year study, you know this one? Yes. I knew that you would. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but they looked at so many different aspects of health. Yeah. And bottom line, it came down to the people who lived the longest, most fulfilling life. It wasn't that they hit the gym every day. It wasn't that they hit their macros every day, although it's important. It wasn't even that they avoided smoking or didn't even have a recreational drink. It was based upon the meaningful relationships in their life. Yeah. And how unbelievable. That it's a 70-year study, so you know it's legit. This isn't inconclusive. This is done, like passed on by the top scientists. And if we're talking about health, there is no health in isolation. Yeah. You aren't healthy just because you are a size 2. You're not healthy just because you hit your macros every day. You need to hit on all those unique aspects to make up the paradigm that is a healthy Ali or Ayla or Yasher. And I think that's why this collaboration of bringing mindset training, brain-based executive coaching, and layering it on top of nutrition, I mean, I'll be quite transparent, I just didn't feel like I could keep going on doing what I'm doing unless I had you guys and this information to give the people who are seeking me out. I was half-assing it, right? It's not just carbs, fats, and proteins. It's everything. And so, I mean, I thank you guys a tremendous amount for just showing up and putting this together, because it's something that is recent, right? You had these ideas, you have been who you are, and you realize, hey, we're 2 pieces of the puzzle. Put it together, and you've created this hugely dynamic, revolutionary program that people don't even know they need yet. And once they realize it, they're like, we just wasted 10 years of our CEO boardroom when we could have been getting so much more productivity out of our corporation. Yeah. So I mean, I want to acknowledge that for you guys, and I think people need to know that. Okay, last question. We'll keep it light. We'll end it on a light note. If you were an animal, Ayla, what animal would you be?
Okay. So I was once told. So I wouldn't have picked this animal, but I was once told my spirit animal is an owl. Okay. So I didn't know what that meant, so I Googled it later. And it was really interesting because...
You mean you didn't know what an owl was?
No, I didn't understand what it meant when someone told me that my spirit animal is an owl. So I looked it up later, and I actually really liked it. So it said it was a symbol of wisdom, and it was also helping people, get to where they need to go in darkness. So I found that it sat with me, obviously, from what we do. So that was really interesting. Way to look at the work we do also. As we talk about our best selves, one of my words is wisdom. And it's because it holds ground and holds a space for people to sit with you. You're not talking at them, you're holding space with them. So I definitely resonated with that. So I thank that one person who told me that that's my spirit animal. But on another level, as I was younger, I kind of identified, I don't know if this is an animal or an insect, but a butterfly. And it's really for that metamorphosis. It's the idea of, evolving into who you have to be. And again, I look at it again as your best self, and how it's not a thing that happens. It's a thing that happens over time, and you have to work at it. And it's beautiful when you get there.
Amazing. Wow, Ayla, I was going to say I would be a giraffe because I'm tall. So let me just hop on Google. And what about you?
You know what? As we were sitting here and listening to Ayla, I was like, okay, well, the first animal that always pops to mind when people say this is dog. I love dogs. I absolutely adore dogs. And I have a dog. And I'll just quickly say this. I think the reason I love dogs and the reason why I wanted to get the dog I have now, which is a boxer, is because my wife said don't share this in public, so here we go, right?
Thanks, Meg.
Yeah. Because if you look at a boxer's personality, it's everything I actually want to be.
Okay.
They're incredibly goofy and playful, incredibly loving, but when the time is right, they will protect your ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And they're working dogs, and they were used very early on, and still are in police work. So they're able to be trained and get shit done, but at the same time, they will take care of your little kid, they will play with your cat, they will lick you until you're sick of it. And so I think dogs in general they've been domesticated for this, yes, we understand that, but I think they connect with humans on a way that I'm sure everyone watching this or listening to this will understand, right? So,
what a dog, yeah.
Yeah, what a dog can do. So I think it's the wisdom, it's the playfulness, it's the protection, and it's the, you know what, I'm there and I'm compassionate. And I love that empathy they also can bring. So I think a dog.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm tall. So guys, if people want to get a hold of you, how do we find out where you are, where you're at? What should we look at?
Yeah, so basically at mindshift ninja everything. So website, just mindshift.ninja.
It's a dot.
It's a dot. There's no .com, .ca. So
Dot
mindshift.ninja. But Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it's all at mindshift ninja.
Yeah. Awesome. Look out for our upcoming book, Mindshift Macros. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to change your life. I am so thrilled to have, again, these premium authors on board with my mission, which is to teach people how to eat for health, eat for longevity, eat for life, eat for happiness, healthiness, and success. Cheers, guys. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Take care.